chase the traveler back again. Now, I want to talk about something that a lot of people want to know. I'm going to talk about something that people often discuss. Now, as a black man traveling, everybody wants to know how I feel about race. And every country's different. No country is going to have the same racism. I'm not saying that there's racism or I felt racism here. But every country's different. The racism that you're going to feel in Japan is going to be totally different than the racism you're going to feel in America. Now, I'm pretty sure there's racism here in Brazil. I haven't felt it yet because I haven't gone out into society and I haven't worked in Brazil. So nobody really has any influence over me. So it's not that easy to be racist towards me because I don't have to be around you. But either way, let me give you what I think. Let me tell you how I feel. Now in Brazil, it's a little complicated. I mean, if we were back in the States, race, as I knew it growing up, is a little different than what it is now in the States. I mean, when I was younger, I mean, if you looked light-skinned and you could grow an afro, you were black. It doesn't matter how light you were just black. I mean, I have family members that are like that. And I had childhood friends that I played with that were like that. You know, they were all different colors, but they were still black. And, you know, I didn't really understand that things that happened 400 years ago affected how their skin tone changed. Now in Brazil, you kind of have that to a certain degree. I mean, honestly, I feel that people that look like me in this city are pretty much in the minority. But you do have people that I feel look like me, but are a shade or 2 or 3 or 4 lighter. But I'm not sure if they really identify as black. Maybe if I pushed them or if I just pointed a few things out to them, they might say, oh, okay, I'm black. But I feel like Brazil is way more mixed. I mean, you have every shade, every color over here. You have from like the super white, like stuff that you would see out in Scandinavia. And you do have like the super dark, like myself, or a shade or 2 light, darker. But I feel like the people in between are what really makes Brazil Brazil. So, but you know, I'm not sure how to approach it. I mean, you know, I haven't really met people where I could actually, I mean, talking about race to people is not as easy as you think. Just because you share the same skin color or your hair texture is the same as a certain person doesn't mean that automatically you're going to have a kinship with them, even if you're from the same country. I mean, I'll give you an example. A black person in the US that works predominantly with white people in the US, and you as a black person goes in as a customer, and if they're predominantly used to working with white people and working with white customers, you might not get the treatment that you feel you deserve from somebody that looks like you. So, race is complicated. I've lived in neighborhoods in America where there weren't that many black people around. And I saw a black person. I was like, "Oh, brother, I'm here. Yeah, we're here." And I've had that brother just cross over to the other side as soon as he saw me, because he was like, "Oh, I can't be associated with them because if they see me with him, they might think I'm with him, even though, like, hopefully." So things like that do happen. But anyway, we're talking about Brazil. So in Brazil, I see a lot of what you would call light-skinned black people. I see a lot of what you would call light-skinned black people. I would say that they are primarily the majority. And I see a lot of like interracial couples also. I see a lot of people that look black dating white, and I see a lot of people that look interracial, even kind of like Hispanic looking, dating black, or it's like it's pretty mixed. But I still feel that there's a little racial element where people like me are still a little different, because we're not in the majority, and I guess we haven't graduated to that light atmosphere yet. So you get a little bit of that. Now, I also believe that your economic status dictates how much of racism you are going to get and how much of it you're going to feel. Because let me tell you, even in America, I mean, you see some rich black people out there, they're not complaining about racism as much as poor black people. I mean, you might hear it once in a while, but I mean, Shaq isn't complaining about it. Jay-Z isn't complaining about it anymore, but he is fighting for black people in Mississippi. I'll give him that. But I would say that Brazil is definitely a place where you have a lot of mixed people. You definitely have a lot of mixed people. And if there is racism over here, it's definitely not a situation where the people are not mixing. Oh, they're mixing over here. I mean, you definitely see, like I said, you definitely see a lot of mixing. Especially you see like a lot of what I would say black women with a lot of people that don't look black to me. I wouldn't say that black men have the advantage over here. But yeah, you get some. So I'm also not sure how to approach these people, or how to tell them, or how to ask them, are you black or are you something else? Because a lot of them, and when I look at them, I'm like, well, you look black to me. I mean, but again, I think I kind of feel that race is a social construct. I mean, if you look at my DNA, I mean, I took a DNA test. I'm supposed to be 20% white. But I don't feel I'm getting 20% white privilege. I'm not even sure that the biracial people here, or the people that look black to me but might not identify as black, get any privilege here either. Honestly, I don't think they do. But I'm not even sure that they identify as black. Because, I mean, sometimes I meet people. Now again, I am generalizing. I'm not saying that that's a total, absolute fact. But I do see people that I would consider black. But I'm not sure that they consider themselves that just by my interactions with them. Now, I'm not 100% sure. I might be wrong. Because again, I haven't been here that long. But it's just a feeling that I get. But definitely, I feel that unlike the United States, Brazil definitely has a lot more black people. But whether or not they know they're black is something else. And like I said, over here in Brazil, you're gonna find everybody. You're gonna see everybody. You're gonna go from dark to light. But race, again, is something that people created. So, I guess the idea of race is a little different here. And I can feel that it's a little different here. I also don't feel that in Brazil, the concept of what America thinks is black applies here. And what I mean by that, I don't think that the people over here would apply that concept the same way that an American would apply it. And I think, I mean, I don't know, but I would think that a lot of the people that I interact with or that I'm looking at that I think are black probably don't think they're black. I mean, I'm not sure. Honestly, I haven't confirmed it. I haven't spoken to anybody about it. But it's just a feeling that I have. And you know, like I said, some people might think that black people automatically open up about race to every other black person. That's not the case in America, and I don't think that's the case in Brazil either. I think that in Brazil, people are kind of like telling other people that you would perceive to be black, oh, well, you're not really black. And that's kind of like a compliment. Now, I'm not sure, I mean, I don't think that's a compliment, but I've been told that. And I'm like, what, me? What are you talking about? Now, I didn't want to be rude, so I kind of like, you know, chuckled and like, ha ha ha, he he he. But I kind of feel like people are trying to get away from their blackness over here. And I don't know. I mean, I've heard that they had a history over here of trying to whiteify the country and trying to get people to mix in order to get rid of the blackness. I've been told this by a biracial Brazilian lady that has a white mother and a black father, but she identifies as black. But that's what she told me. So, I'm not sure exactly how I should feel about this. A Harley Davidson. Not that usual here. Like I said, I don't know how I should feel about this, but I'm in a different country. I'm going to be respectful for now. And honestly, I really haven't had any problems when it comes to race here. Once in a while, you might get a little bit of, you know, something you think you're better than you really are, kind of thing. But again, I'm not under anybody's control over here, so it's not something that's that obvious. or that, I would say, problematic. But I can definitely see a situation over here where the fairer you are, the more affluence you have. The lighter you are, the more on the economic ladder you can climb. I mean, again, like I said, I've only been here for like 2 weeks, so I can't say I'm 100% sure that that's the way it is. But I have a feeling that's the way it is. But also, on TV, you see interracial couples, you see people mixing. I mean, it's not, I don't think that they frown that. I really don't. But I think when it comes to business opportunities, you might be limited. You might be limited. But again, as with racism, even in America, when you have a black man and he's got means and he's got resources, he's not limited to a lot of things. He's limited to certain things for sure, but he's not limited to a lot of things. So I feel like in Brazil it's probably the same way. So I don't think Brazil is colorblind. I don't think Brazil is a place where you could say there is no racism. I also don't think that Brazil is a place where you can say that people aren't trying to escape blackness. People that have a certain degree of, I would say, black heritage. But again, like I said, I'm not 100% sure. I'm just telling you from the vibe that I get. I don't feel a kinship. I'm not saying that there is no kinship. I'm just saying that I just feel like people are maybe trying to run away from their blackness over here. They're trying to keep it on the hush, like they don't really want to talk about it. But I still believe all the things that I said about the opportunities that exist over here. Totally. Still believe that wonderful things can do over here if you plan correctly, because it's a lot cheaper. I mean, if you wanted to open up a business in the US and you lived in a big city in the US and you come to Brazil, you're definitely going to see opportunity. But the problem is that you're going to have the language barrier. That's a fact. And because you have the language barrier, you're also going to have the foreign barrier, which limits you due to the fact that you're definitely not going to get the correct prices. Now, is this something that you can thwart? Absolutely. Just looking at it, you're going to get a little resistance from people over here. If you want to do things business-wise, you're going to get a little resistance. I've been out talking to some locals. I mean, actually today I was talking to a lawyer, and I think that there are certain things that they would like to do that they can't, but then you as a foreigner, you could do it. But then they wouldn't give you the information. So you kind of have to know how to finesse that, or know how to get somebody to do what you want them to do without them knowing that you, the foreigner, are the one that's trying to do it. So, I'm kind of, again, I'm in first world Brazil. But on any corner, we can be in the third world. So, what I'm saying is that race is definitely a factor here. And I think that it's probably a factor everywhere. But over here, you definitely have different shades. You definitely have different hair textures. You definitely have people that would be considered black in America, but I don't think they consider themselves that yet. So you're definitely going to have a divide even from black people over here. And I've heard that even your light-skinned Brazilians have definitely at least 5%, 10% black DNA. Now, I don't know how much of that is true, but that's what I've heard. But I'm not sure that they're actually proud of it, or they actually advertise that, or want to advertise it. So, most certainly, I would say that the majority of Brazilians are of mixed race heritage. Black, white, American Indian. You've got some that look black, like in the African sense, like myself. And of course some that Africans would consider not African, but Americans would consider black. And you've got some that Americans would consider Hispanic looking, but they're not Hispanic. They're, I don't know, maybe they're Latin, or they're part Latin, but part black, part white, maybe part indigenous. So race over here, honestly, I think it's a little bit more complicated than what you have in America. It's definitely, you've got more shades here. I mean, I guess in Louisiana you've got your Creoles. So I guess that, you might find it in certain parts of Louisiana, South Carolina. And I would say that, at least in this area, Cuiabá, Brazilians are definitely more mixed than what you would find in America. I'm not saying you're not going to find people like me, but you're going to find a person like maybe a shade lighter than me, 2 shades lighter than me, 3 shades lighter than me. And you would find people that I would consider black that probably don't consider themselves black. Or they're just like so far removed from that they're like, hey, something, people like myself or my shade have been intermarrying for many generations, so we're not really with you. But if you look at them like in an American sense, you'd be like, hold on a second, you're with us. But either way, this is Chase the Traveler reporting from Cuiabá, Brazil, about what is Brazilian ethnicity. Again, this is not scientifically proven by me. This is just my personal observation. And thank you very much for watching. Much appreciated. Again, if you like my content, please like and subscribe. Please share. Also, when it comes to the places that I've traveled, whether it's Brazil, whether it's America, whether it's Japan, especially Japan, if you feel like you want to know something, if you feel like you want me to expand on something, you have a situation, you have a question, shoot me an email, chasethetraveler@gmail.com. I definitely would give you all the knowledge that I have in regards to this. I definitely, especially when it comes to Japan, have 3 decades worth of knowledge and experience. So I can definitely guide you. I can definitely tell you what works, what doesn't work, what will work, what won't work, what's totally not worth it, especially when it comes to the court system. Not that I've been in the court system, or not that I've had any issues, but I know people that have, and I know people that have lost. I've also known Batman, people that have won, people that have defeated the system. So anyway, shoot me an email if you need my guidance. Thanks again. See you in the next episode.